Good morning, Savannah. It's Monday, May 11th, 2020, and welcome to Savannah Community Headlines Live. I'm Marjorie Young, and we've got Carmel and Catalina. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today's guests are Jan Southern. She is the owner, publisher of the Effingham magazine and Fuller magazines. She's going to talk about a marketing program that they have. And we'll also be talking with Tom Kenkel and Whitney Lowery about the Night of Champions. And we've got Lisa Scarbrough of the Coastal Pet Rescue coming on to talk about how to adopt pets. Anyhow, good morning.
Exciting day, yes.
Y'all have a good Mother's Day?
It was good, yes. We actually did some virtual distance getting together with my daughter, my mom. And she celebrated her birthday this past week. My mom did as well. So we really needed to see everybody. I wanted to put my eyes on her. And also visited with my husband's parents a little bit virtually, distant, in the same room. And it worked out okay.
Awesome. I'm really sore. I was telling Tom before we came on, actually got up on the roof and was blowing off all the pine straw, and I'm sore. I know. I got a lot of crap for doing that. I won't do that again.
I'm just going to throw it out there that the last place you want to go at this very point in time is the hospital. I'm just saying.
I am so sore this morning.
Yeah, not a good idea.
So let's get going with community headlines. Last week we had Bonnie Rochelle on with Faith Equestrian, and of course they do that wonderful program for kids with different abilities. And I love the story she was talking about last week with how the one child never spoke before he got on a horse.
So amazing.
Wasn't that wonderful?
It was just it touched my heart. If that program is not doing good in this world, nothing is.
And well, they need funds, and that's why they're going to be doing this virtual 5K. And you have until May 15th to sign up for it. And once the COVID passes, they'll get the program up and going again. But they need to feed the horses.
Yes. So, and if you can't run, I'm sure they would love to have a little donation. Any amount helps.
Absolutely.
It does. And Bonnie she's a good person. I knew her back in school, and when we were in elementary school together, and she's just a really super person.
That's so cool. So, Carmel, what headline do you have that you want to?
Well, another subject that's near and dear to my heart is historic preservation, and if you're from Savannah, it's something you really ought to embrace a little bit. May is National Historic Preservation Month. Yay. And like many local businesses, the COVID-19 pandemic has had an effect on the Historic Savannah Foundation. And while they've had to cancel some events, Historic Savannah is offering free lectures on Zoom. And they're honoring past awards, winners on social media, and presenting virtual tours of homes. Now, so if you haven't been in some of these, when we live in Savannah, you don't go, and a lot of times you don't go and visit some of these homes. All the folks who come in from out of town have been in all the places, and all of us go, no, I've never been there. So this is our chance, right?
Absolutely.
And also they'll be providing educational activities for children to learn about history. So if your kids still need to do some projects for school, if they haven't gotten out of school yet, this is a good opportunity for them to learn about history.
What a great way they have pivoted. I mean, that's a very positive thing. That's super cool.
Right. So it's just, you can't say you don't have the opportunity, because here's your opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you, Carl. Mm-hmm. Catalina, what do you have?
So, yesterday, I think I was telling you off backstage that, yesterday, Mother's Day, we did all the things. And then my husband and I took a drive, and we ran across a fantastic mural that has been featured in a local newspaper on the corner of, it's kind of near the corner of Waters Avenue and Victory Drive. It's COVID-19 themed. And I thought it was great because, you know, we hear everything that's so very serious and very medical and scientific and all those things with regarding COVID-19. This is the theme of the mural was take care of the most vulnerable, which I thought was very fitting for these times. And it's a collaboration between a local artist, Jose Ray, and a building owner, Stuart, I believe you say his last name, Dorman. And Mr. Dorman has a building. It's like a 1920s Mediterranean style building near the corner of Waters and Victory. And it's a mural that incorporates Dr. Fauci. And like I said, the theme is take care of the most vulnerable. And, you know, given the neighborhood and the theme and the times that we're in, it was actually really cool to see.
Yeah, that's my old neighborhood. And I love this. And that neighborhood is in transition right now, the whole Waters Avenue corridor. And it's so neat to see things like this happening, you know, something that's positive coming back to that neighborhood. It's great.
Catalina, can you post that below? That would be a cool picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll find it. I thought it was cool. We had, you know, last week sometimes the Panhandle Slim came out with art piece that featured the mayor with one of my favorite sayings that was keep the faith and follow the science. And this one is kind of along those lines as well. So it's pretty cool. I love that Savannah's art community is like doing things that bring attention, but also feature artwork as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next we're going to bring on Jan Southern with the Effingham magazine and Fuller magazine. Good morning, Jan. How are you? Good morning. Oh, wait a second. Jan, I had the wrong one. I actually don't need glasses anymore, but you think I would. We've got Whitney on here now, too. So just stay on. Okay, sorry. Jan, so go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Jan Southern. I'm the owner and publisher of Effingham magazine and Fuller magazine. And if you're not familiar with those magazines, they're we publish feel-good stories, uplifting stories about people and organizations in these communities. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. I also own J. Delsar Marketing Group.
Awesome. And I asked you this morning what the DPA stands for. Go ahead.
It's a Doctor of Public Administration.
That's really impressive. Very impressive.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. So your organization has a program out on marketing. Go ahead and tell us.
Sure. You know, when this first, we've always been really, my passion is helping small businesses grow. I just get such a kick out of it and just really enjoy it. So we've always kind of had that philosophy that even advertisers with our magazines, we like fully support them in every way we can. And so when this pandemic happened, we wanted to reach out, like, how can we help these small businesses keep going? And we did some things like Facebook Live events from their sites and did special programs to kind of help them on social media promote. And so now that businesses are starting to think about opening again, I wanted to help them with kind of a reboot, you know, a package that can just get their minds back on marketing their businesses. And so with our advertising package in for the next issue of Effingham and then the following issue of Fuller, we're offering really reduced rates on advertising. But on top of that, we're offering a marketing consultation, an hour of marketing expertise that has nothing to do with the print ads. It would be just about your business in general. We have an ebook that talks about how to create a marketing plan for your business in a short period of time. So it's kind of a micro marketing plan, but it really can kind of get a business started and thinking about who's your target audience, how can I maximize the limited funds that I have and get moving to grow my business. And then we're also offering some an ad spend, $50 ad spend on Facebook and Instagram advertising that we'll set up for them, and just some other things are included in our newsletter, our weekly newsletter, and just a whole package to kind of get them excited and start thinking about advertising again. And one of our advertisers, she's been a longtime community sponsor. She said the other day, it really touched my heart. She said, you know, I'm going to be a community sponsor with Effingham Magazine for life. She said, as long as I own my business, you guys have been so supportive. and have really helped my business grow. And I'm just going to be with you guys for life. So that really made me happy. And that's what we're here for. So.
Well, thank you. I mean, that is a really nice thing to offer small business. I mean, gosh,
Yeah.
They're really having a hard time right now.
Yeah.
The economy is starting to crank back up slowly, and things are getting.
And I mean, we have to always be thinking about marketing in all aspects, because even when things are slow, when things are good, we have to keep that funnel. And when things are slow, we have to keep that going too. There's a lot of creative things that you can do that don't cost a lot. They don't have to have a big spend if you think creatively. And so that marketing plan book kind of helps with that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to bring on, hold on. I'm going to do this better. I hope this next time. Hold on. We already got Whitney on, and we've got Tom Kenkel on. So
Morning, Tom.
Morning.
Morning.
There we go. And you guys are here to talk about Night of Champions, right?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So obviously they had to cancel the one in April, like everything in the whole world. So what's the status of Night of Champions, and what is Night of Champions?
So the status is we're still, watching this situation unfold. Working to reschedule for later this year is the current plan. And Night of Champions, for anybody who doesn't know, actually, I know we're going to talk to Lisa Scarbrough today. You mentioned Bonnie Rochelle. Even I believe Effingham magazine has featured people from the Low Country Down Syndrome Society. I'm just in this meeting. I'm realizing how I guess the breadth of Night of Champions, how many people it's touched in the community, how many people in the community have supported, I think, that event. Lisa Scarbrough works with a young man named Brenton Scott, who we featured in the 2017 Night of Champions, which is an event that calls attention to people with different abilities who have been successfully employed. And we tell those success stories in order to show the impact that opportunities like that can have on those people, but not only those people, but but everybody around them. So from the employer to the colleagues to the whole business. One of the common stories that you hear is from an employer who says, I was skeptical about hiring somebody with disabilities. And then a year later, they can't imagine what their business would be like without that person there. Created a niche, does an amazing job. This is, it's just invariably the story that gets told. And it just never gets old because there's still a lot of room for improvement. I think a lot of room for more and more employment.
Off the top of your head, can you remember last year's one or two winners, businesses that employ somebody with different abilities? Sure.
Well, so speaking of artists, Chris Holt at the Tybee Island YMCA. He works at the Y and does a great job. He is one of the most interesting artists that I think that I've seen. He does Disney characters and maybe scenes from Disney World, but he's got this just like incredibly intense technical technique. It's that guy really stood out to me. And we had Reginald Horton from Savannah Bananas, Megan Maley, who works at Bubba Gumbo's.
Yeah. Oh, and if you have never been to Night of Champions, it is the most moving night. It's my favorite event of the year. I mean, 500, 600, 700 people. Something's going to have to change for a while with
we've seen over 700 people at Night of Champions. And I think that was the event that it was the first one that I believe Bill and Mark Granger attended.
Yeah.
And it hooked them. They've been amazing sponsors of the event since that. And, you know, each year we look for, you know, bigger attendance and more impact. This year really did kind of throw us for a loop. But I was kind of reflecting on that later today. I hope that when we do get to reschedule this year, that people will know that this is such a good news event and that people will be ready for that good news and will come out to support.
Absolutely. Whitney, what about you? What's this? What else is happening with the Low Country Down Syndrome Society?
Well, we're really just kind of on hold like the rest of the world at the moment, getting ready to preparing and planning so that whenever everything does get started back up, we can really ramp it on. So as of right now, we are just kind of, like I said, still preparing and planning with donors and sponsors for the event. All of our other events are kind of based on that. So,
well, maybe if I can add, we just put some finishing touches on our new parent packets.
Yes. So we have new family packets in which we send out to families that are being diagnosed with Down syndrome or new to the area, and it just kind of has our information. So if anybody is interested, they can certainly contact us. Okay. We can send one out.
So we distribute those to hospitals so that they can, we can't know who's being diagnosed, but that's all with the hospitals. So hospitals will have those on hand to give to those new parents. It is, for parents who aren't expecting a child with Down syndrome, or for parents totally new to it. It's scary, and having that information packet shows you that, and I think more to the point, getting in touch with LDSS, talking with other family members, you quickly get the idea that it's not scary. It doesn't have to be scary, and there's a lot of support.
So how can people get in touch with you?
You can contact us either via email at info@ldssga.org or look at our website, which is ldssga.org as well.
Awesome. Well, we'll also put the information below on Facebook too. So,
excellent.
All right, guys. Any other news about Night of Champions or Low Country Down Syndrome? I'm going to pull on Lisa in just a second.
As soon as we get a date, we will let everybody know.
Yeah, and we'll help get that out too. Okay, thanks, guys. So let me figure out how to do this here. All right. Bye, Tom. All right. And now I'm going to be pulling on Lisa. Hey, Lisa.
Good morning.
Good morning. Lisa, you have a standing invitation to come on. Tell everybody who you are. I think everybody knows who you are.
I'm Lisa Scarbrough. I'm the founder and director for Coastal Pet Rescue here in Savannah, Georgia.
Today we featured one of your pets.
I think it was Stampers.
Stamper. Yeah, there's a picture of Stampers below. Is she still up for adoption?
She is. She's one of those ones that you really have to meet in person to appreciate her. When the COVID went down, is what I call it, we went out to our partner, Effingham Animal Shelter, and tried to do the best that we could to empty their shelter to make it easier for them, as they started having their resources diminished as being forced to shut down to the public. And Stampers was one of the last cats that we pulled out before they completely shut down. We were able to help them empty the shelter completely in April, and I believe it was 49 dogs and 29 cats and kittens into the rescue.
Wow.
Oh, well, you've been doing such wonderful work for how many years has it been now, Lisa?
Well, according to the IRS, it's 17, but I actually started when I was 20 and I'm 41 now.
Wow. Have you kept track of how many dogs and cats that you have adopted out?
It's on paper somewhere. To be honest, it's one of those things that I just go through it as fast as I can. We had a abundance of adoptions last month. About midway through April, we started getting a lot of requests from individuals who said, look, this is a great time for me to bring a pet home, which I took to be, I'm tired of just looking at my spouse and my kids all day, every day. And they need something to kind of fill what was going on in their homes. And so we were doing adoptions almost every single afternoon for about a 3-week span. And then, of course, as restrictions have lifted, people started going back to work. That's tapered off. But what we've also been having is individuals whose jobs are not reopening, and they've unfortunately had to move or relocate. And so we are starting to get owner surrenders as a result of that.
Yeah, apparently it's a national trend. So many people are looking to adopt a dog or a cat, and a lot of the shelters are empty. And I mean, did you found that here?
No, I'm not empty at all. We worked really well with Effingham Animal Shelter in Springfield. They're already one of our shelter partners, and we were able to help them completely empty. And as a result, they've been able to do maintenance work they normally could not do because of the shelters being full with animals. We've been working with some other shelter partners and pulling in where we can. But we're in the midst of kitten season. So we've had a high volume of kittens that are showing up without moms. So we have a couple of nursing moms that have taken on bonus litters of kittens. And we've been doing some little feeding. I think we have 32 kittens in house right now. And it's
32, did you say?
32 kittens in house right now.
Wow.
And it calls at least 2 or 3 times a day between the phone, voicemail, and email asking us to take more. And there's just only so many resources that we have available to do that. So probably in about 2 to 3 weeks, our website's going to be loaded down with pictures of kittens as they come of age for adoption.
So Lisa, next week, if you could just take your cell phone and walk us through your shelter and just, I mean, if that would help.
I would love to do that. I'm also homeschooling right now.
I know. It's not a great time Monday morning.
His schooling has been different than everybody else's. He's gotten to help scrub down kennels. He picks up trash. He helps walk the dogs. He's been helping me with doing kitten deworming and deworming, in addition to his schoolwork. I'm also a scout leader, so he's not been getting any kind of breaks at all. So every day with his schoolwork, he also has to do 1 or 2 requirements for scouts. So it helps to keep him busy and not bored while he's having to go to work every day with mom.
Wow. Gosh, Lisa. Well, I've just followed your progress over the years, and
yeah. I've known Lisa for a hot minute. It's been a while since I've seen you.
My first
back
was working with you.
I know. I think like my very first job when I moved back to Savannah 1,000 years ago, I worked with Lisa.
Well, and that was how I met Marjorie too, was through that job, which hopefully I no longer have.
Mm-hmm.
a small world.
I have a question about adoption, if you don't mind.
Sure.
If somebody never has adopted a pet before, what can they expect? I mean, does it cost a lot to adopt a pet, and do they have to get a lot of shots when they get the pet? What can they expect?
So all of our pets are fully vetted before they leave us. The only exception being puppies and kittens that will need probably additional boosters and their rabies vaccine, depending on what age they are when they leave us. So our adoption fees really only help us to try to recover what we've spent on them veterinary-wise, as well as some of their food, but it never fully recovers all of the costs that we invest in the animal. Our average spend per animal is about $380, and our adoption fee is $250 for puppies, $200 for adult dogs, $100 for senior dogs. We do $60 for kittens and then $50 for adult cats.
Mm. And what if somebody wants to, say, foster a pet? Can they do that through you?
Absolutely. So what we do, we've kind of been modifying how we do everything. We're doing all of our orientations for new volunteers online. And then we set up meet and greets for new foster families to come out to the shelter. We do everything by appointment only so that we're limiting the number of individuals at our shelter. The one thing that we have really in our favor through all of this is that our property that we're on is about 2 acres. And we don't have all of the animals housed in one building. We're set up as a podular system. So we have our isolation animals, which are usually our vulnerable kittens or cats or something that's recovering from surgery in one building. Our small dogs are 25 pounds and others, or 25 pounds and under, or in another building. All of our cats are in their own building where they also have patios so they can go outside and get some fresh air. And then our dogs that are 30 pounds and plus are down in our kennels. So we've been able to keep volunteers on site without them having to really mix with other people. And then we have 7 play yards. So we're able to bring families over. We don't schedule more than 2 families at a time to come and visit with the animals. And they go to their own play yards, and we bring the animal to them in the play yard. And then we sit on the outside of the play yard and answer questions. So we've been able to help maintain social distancing and everything while still making adoption happen.
That's good too. I was just going to say, because if people want to go, they're interested only in cats or only in small dogs, then you just show them just those areas.
Right. And most of our animals right now are in foster care. We actually had probably the highest number of cats get adopted in the last month. We don't usually see that many cat adoptions in a month. But again, more people were staying home and they felt like it was a good time to bring an animal home. So our cattery actually only has 2 rooms that are being used for our cats. The other 3 are going to be filled with kittens and the mothers that come of age. Once there's weans, they'll come back from foster care and come out to the cattery and start being available for adoption soon.
Oh my gosh, Lisa.
Lisa, what kind of expectations, we're all working from home. We're all spending a lot of time at home. Everybody's doing that. What expectations should someone considering adoption have as far as bringing a new pet into the home under these circumstances versus when we all go back to work and they're not at home as often, and what do they consider?
What we've also been coaching people on is remember what your schedule is going to be like later. Don't create something that you can't maintain. So even if you're spending all of your time at home right now, put your pet in another room an hour or so by themselves, just so they get used to that you're not going to be there all day, every day. My dog, I'm an essential worker. So my dogs had the same schedule that we were on before COVID. Actually, I think we've been working a little bit later hours because my son's been working to work. So I haven't been sprinting home to Effingham from Savannah to try to get him before, the after school fine stuff. But I really don't think the separation anxiety is going to be as much of an issue as some people start to gradually work into routines for the summer anyway that they would have had with their kids and all. But you do have to make sure you're giving some space. I mean, even at night, if you're putting your animal in the crate while you go to sleep, that's still giving them time away from you. You just want to give them the chance to know that you are going to get back, but you're not going to be there all day, every day.
Do you need more volunteers, Lisa? And how do you
need more volunteers? Part of what happened with the COVID, I have a lot of retirees that volunteer with us at the shelter, and I lost those. Of course, we lost all of our college students because the campuses closed down. We did start filling in the last month with families with teenage volunteers because they're kind of tired of their kids being at home, just being at home.
And I have one for you.
It works out well because the teens can earn their service hours for school or scholarship information. Volunteering looks really great on college applications. So this is a great time to be building that if you have a junior in high school who needs to start thinking a little bit ahead. We have a lot of families with young children that volunteer. My son is 9, but he's been volunteering since the day he was born, essentially. And we have another family that has also a 9-year-old. And so that's been the coolest thing for the 2 of them because they've been the only kids that they're seeing during this COVID has been when they're out there at the shelter together. So we have a real gamut of the volunteers that come out there, and it's been wonderful to see the people who we're stuck at home, but we feel like we need to do something, and so they've been giving of their time. We've been able to have volunteers come in and just work in our admin office filing papers, which is the bane of my existence. We all love these state license requirements that have so much paper all the time, all day, every day. And for somebody to say, look, I can't work with the animals, but what else do you have? Oh, come file papers. Now, they don't always want to come back after they've done that, but we have all these opportunities available. And like I said, we've been doing our volunteer orientations virtually through Zoom. And it's really helped us to be able to turn in some volunteers in a time where we probably would have been getting a little bit short as our college volunteers graduate and other families get ready to go off for the summer plans.
We just had a question from Facebook to please mention your organization again.
Oh, we're Coastal Pet Rescue. And if you ever go down Truman Parkway between Montgomery Crossroad and Whitfield, you pass us on the right, so you can just wave to us as you go by. We have about 60 animals in residence, usually out there at the shelter, and the remainder are over in foster care. And we usually have about 110 to 120 in the whole program at a time.
Gosh, Lisa. Sue, Savvy Sue asked that. Would you mention the name of the pet organization again? So thank you for doing that. And Lisa, thank you for being on Community Headlines Live. And seriously, at any Monday morning that you want to bring on a pet, I'm always going to send you an email with a link.
Well, my dog's head made an appearance very briefly. I don't know if y'all got to see her there. But we have an 8-year-old hippo named Roxy that we adopted, I guess, almost 2 years ago now from Effingham. Well, we intended to just foster her from Effingham shelter. And she was heartworm positive, and she was old, and she was gassy and smelly. And we got her cleaned up, fixed up. Like, I adopted her out to a very wonderful home. And the guy called me 30 days later, said, she's just depressed. I think she needs to leave. And I was like, she's a bulldog. They just don't do much. And we went and picked her up, and she ran and jumped in the car and sat in my son's lap, and we had a bulldog.
Yeah, she adopted you. Is it he or she? She adopted you. Oh,
so we
gosh.
call her Roxy the couch hippo because she sleeps about 23 hours a day.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
So she doesn't really care if we're here or not, as long as she has a couch to lay on.
Oh, well, you do such great work in the community, and this is a really challenging time, I'm sure. And I'm sure you always are looking for donations too.
Right. And I call it a character building time, not a challenging time. We look for opportunities, not challenges.
Yes, you must be in PR. That's a good. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Lisa, thank you so much, and everybody, thank you for watching. And we will put all the headlines below. So if you have any questions about them, there's a direct link, and we will see everybody next Monday morning on Community Headlines Live. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.